So this is my first time to Kalakshethra, and I wanted to begin by talking about Kala, Kshetra, and then move to black, white, grey, the goddesses. So I've always asked myself, where does the word Kala come from? And of course, we will never really know, but one can speculate. And I think it emerges from the word Kala, which means time, and the nature of time, which cuts everything down, breaks everything down, because you're continuously disconnected with yesterday, which in Hindi is called Kal, and from tomorrow, which is also called Kal. So Kala creates Kal and Kal, and there is this separation, and you're yearning for yesterday, which is your history, and for your tomorrow, which is your destiny. And you are isolated from both your past and your future, and you're yearning for some form of continuity. Because there is so much finiteness, the breaking down of things, that you wonder whether you can unite. And Kala unites. It unites the colors, it unites the beats of the music, it unites gestures in dance. So it's constantly uniting and creating a kind of infinity, because from the beat comes the melody, and then gradually you come back to the starting point, the cyclical rhythms, and there is this structuring through which the finite is made infinite through the arts. So in a way, the arts enable us to break free from this sense of isolation, this breaking away from my past, my future, this continuous sense of isolation. And it connects us with a continuum, an infinity. And that same thing comes from the word Kshetra. Because what is Kshetra? It is space. We are not talking about time anymore, and we are talking about space. And the Gita, there is repeated mention of Kshetra and Kshetragna. The space, and who are you in that space? And is that your space, and that space is not my space? This is mine, and this is not mine. This is known to me, and that is unknown. And there are these divisions. This belongs to me, this does not belong to me. As long as this belongs to me and we have dispute over who it belongs to, you will have Kurukshetra. And the moment you realize the continuum and there is no such divisions, you move towards Dharmakshetra. And this yearning is a consistent theme in Indian thought of divisions and unions, of breaking things, which Sankhya does, which is enumerating the various divisions, and yoga, which binds them together and tries to unite them. And they unite and they break, and they unite and they break, and this continuously happening. And you see this thought repeating itself in philosophy. You see it in the Nivritti Marga, which is withdrawing from the other, and Pravritti Marga, which is engaging with the other. Or the hermit who wants to separate himself from the other, and the householder who wants to engage with the other. This yearning of separation and union is there in colors. There is the white color, Karpura Gauranga Shiva, who is white as the snow where he sits. And there's black, the dark one, Vishnu, separated and united by the gray. Is that the goddess? Connecting the two, binding? Because when you look at today's age, and we are no different from our ancestors. The ancestors spoke of self-examination, self-exploration, self-actualization, self-realization. Today we have decided to talk about selfies. It is only about the self. This obsession with the self. It's aham, 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 aham all the time. Me, 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 me. Whether it is, we can use words like self-realization, sounds very noble. But the fact is, there is disconnection in that word because there is no acknowledgement of the other. The tvama, aham and mama, me and mine. What about tvam and tava, you and yours? The hermit withdraws from the other. He doesn't want to be part of the other. He wants to be with himself in splendid isolation on top of the mountain. And what about the others? The yearning for a relationship which breaks isolation, which demands attention. What about me? You become a hermit. You go to the forest. What about me? I don't want to go to the forest. Is your need more important than my need? And these are the conversations that India talks about. If you look at the primary Vedic ritual is the yajna. And yajna is not about one, it's about two. There is a yajaman who conducts it and the devata who is invoked. And the yajman does swaha to the devata and the devata does tathastu to the yajman. There's swaha, the giving, and tathastu, the getting. And this is the relationship. Together they create one. And that conversation is forgotten when we use words like self-actualization, self-realization, self. Because we are not focusing on the other, the devata. A devata is not looking at the yajaman. We forget these two wonderful words in Sanskrit. One is aradhya, the central deity, and nimitta, the instrument. And in a relationship, ask yourself in your relationship, are you the aradhya? Or is the devata the aradhya? Are you the nimitta? Or is the devata the nimitta? In a performance, there is a stage where the performers stand, and then there is the audience. Who is the aradhya? Who is the nimitta? Who is the self? Who is the other? As long as there are divisions, magic won't happen. Magic won't happen unless these divisions are broken, because each one contributes to the other. Your responses, your attention, your dhyana influences the performance. And that is the way the movement happens. But it is difficult, right? So you go to the Shiva Puran and you see this yearning of a goddess trying to unite her past and her future. There is Sati, whose father is Daksha Prajapati, the great patron of the yajna, who theoretically understands the yajna, but forgets the yajna is about aham or tvam. Is it about himself or is it about the daughter? And insists that everybody should follow his way and no other way. And therefore is so blinded by his self, is unable to see the other. The hermit, Shiva, in splendid isolation, who sits on the mountain top, does not participate in the yajna, is not interested in the yajna. And she falls in love with him because she sees his beauty. And the father says, that's not beautiful, that's ugly. And she says, no, but I think it's beautiful. It's my truth. And she follows him and he gets angry. And he says, no, you are not welcome into my space. In my kshetra, you are not welcome. And she's angry and she goes to her husband and says, forgive my father. And he says, how does it matter? Don't go. And she feels isolated from him because she wants her father and her husband to be together. And one doesn't go to the yajna and the other refuses to let him enter the yajna. She's torn between her father and her husband. The husband who doesn't care, and the father who only cares for himself. So feel the isolation of Sati between father, the demanding father, the controlling father, and the indifferent husband. The hermit who doesn't care, and her rage when she jumps into the yajna kunda, perhaps reminding that the purpose of life is the connection between the yajaman and the devata, between the aradhya and the nimitta, between aham and tvam, between yesterday and tomorrow. The yearning to unite, which is not happening. the desperation, the rage which she has, rage manifesting in this physical form, rage which we all feel when we feel nobody's looking at us, nobody's listening to us. The wise sage is not listening, the noble priest is not listening, nobody is listening. And you burn yourself in rage. And that's the rage of Sati.